You hear the birds? Morning time. Hey guys, this is JAde, and I want to talk about music and making music today. So, probably about a week ago, I decided that I'm gonna make music every day for as long as I can. And not because I want to have a lot of content out, but because I want to force myself. I want to build this habit in myself to create something every day. And normally that results in a video for you guys, which is pretty great too. But the main goal obviously is for me to work on my music. So I'm working on a lot of albums. I have like 4 different albums that I'm working on, like different genres that I just keep adding to. And I want to talk about like what happens when you're uninspired and you feel like you're just not making music. You have all this gear around you and for some reason you're unhappy and you're not making music and you keep buying shit and it's not working and you're thinking that, oh, this missing piece is gonna help me with my workflow, but it really doesn't. So I want to talk about like what I did when that happened to me and how it's been working for me so far. So basically a few months ago I looked around my room and I realized, man, I have a lot of shit. I have too much gear. I have gear that I haven't even scratched the surface off. Like having synthesizers is different though, because it's like a guitarist having many guitars. So yes, synthesizers come in different flavors and shapes, and they make different sounds. I think it's fine having different synthesizers as different sound sources. But if you have too many like little knickknacks, like little groove boxes and sequencers and all these things that kind of do the same thing, or they are different and they'll push you differently, but they're technically the same thing, that's when I feel it gets difficult. For example, let's say having the MPC Live, having the Digitact, having the SP404, having like all these, the Octatrack, like all these machines that require a lot of time to learn. That's when it gets difficult, and that's when it got difficult for me. So what I did is I decided to get rid of most of like my samplers and stuff like that. Like I got rid of my Octatrack and other little knickknacks that I wasn't using and stuff, and I just focused on the 404. Now I have the machine to like glue it all together, and I do enjoy having my synthesizers. So what I'm getting at is figure out what it is that you're mainly using, figure out what it is that you haven't used forever, and just sell that shit, man. Like, don't hoard. Quit hoarding gear. Like, you're not making any music, so why are you hoarding gear? So what? It was your first piece of gear, it was your first polyphonic synth, it was your first drum machine, whatever, man. Like, what, you're gonna take it with you when you're dead? No. So you're technically holding yourself back by keeping all this junk because you're afraid of selling, you're afraid you're gonna miss it, you're afraid if you sell it, you're gonna go and buy it again. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. I've like sold something and bought it again, sold something and bought it again, thinking it was gonna be different that time. Oh, I could have used it for this, I could have used it for that. But then at the end I end up selling it anyways, and it's like, I guess I didn't really need it. So you can look at that in 2 ways. You can look at it like, oh, I don't know what I want, so I keep buying and selling it, or I'm just confused about my setup altogether and I think I need something that I really don't need. And the thing is, when you limit yourself, like for example, when I make music on the SP404 and I just sit there with my 404, it's just like me and that piece of gear. Like I have a show coming up, my first show, I'm super excited about it, and the only thing I'm going to be using is the Teenage Engineering OPC. My whole set, like a 40-minute set, just on the OPC. And that's because like when you have one piece of gear that you're concentrated on and you're learning on, you can write a whole album on it. You don't have all these other distractions and these other technicalities. Like I remember when I had a main MIDI sequencer and I had a bunch of synthesizers and all this shit. The main issue I had, like in my head, it was stressful trying to sync everything together, trying to make everything play, like I want to play every single keyboard at the same time, and having that mentality just stopped me from making music. And then yeah, you could set it up and it would take half hour or so, an hour, whatever, figuring out how everything was synced together. But then at the end, it was like I was never even satisfied with that setup. Like, I have 10 keyboards I can play. Okay, let's turn them all on at the same time and see what happens. And just having that mentality of needing more to finish something or to make good music is not the right mentality to have. You make less with more gear. I mean, yes, it's fun to collect and it's fun to try new things, but at the end of the day, you're only gonna use 5 or 6 things of everything that you have, you know? It's kind of like with modular. I had like 3 cases, and I always went back to the same modules: rings, clouds, variegate 4, you know? So I got rid of all of my cases. I just have 1 case now, and I'm mainly a keys player, so, man, that sun is right in my face. So if you feel like you're not making music for that reason, that you just have too much shit, sell some shit. Like, it's just that simple. So it's not really a matter of finding the tools that are gonna work for you. It's a matter of using the tools that you already have and seeing how they adjust to your setup and your workflow. I bet that whatever's on your gas list right now, there's something in your studio that does the same thing or something similar. So really stop looking for new shit. Stop being so excited about this shiny shit that's all coming out, and you know, everybody gets all excited, super booth, NAMM, all these other events that, you know, their main purpose is to sell you shit. Yes, we're in an exciting time. There's a lot of new synthesizers coming out. I definitely like that Novation synth that just came out. That's pretty awesome, but you know, I don't have room for something like that, and I have an OB6, which is way better. So I mean, you know, just think about what you have already and quit gassing over other shit, and you'll see how much you get done. So my goal is to make music every day, as long as I can, until I just don't have the time to do it anymore. I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys are liking the content, the Tiny Overture series, the jams. I really want to start doing some more stuff with guitar. And yeah, that's it. You know, keep making music, quit buying shit, and, you know, stay humble. Catch you in the next one.